have come to the panel discussion on fundraising versus investment challenges for crypto and DeFi startups. We have panelists, eminent panelists, Jagdish Pandya from Blockcon Capital, Tushar Kansal, Consultancy Ventures, Lucky from Nigeria, CEO, Savvy Exchange. Then we have Mr. Boulevard. He's the head of crypto practice. Lex Futurist. We have Marinella from Brilliant Enterprise. Malcolm Tam, finally Singapore. He is the Chief Strategic Advisor, Technic Forum Holdings. He is going to be moderating the session. Over to you, Malcolm. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind introduction, Rajan. Today we have a great panel with us. Everybody from exchanges to capital management companies, investment management. So everybody who touches with money, right? And the topic that we are going to be talking about is startup models and challenges. And while the speakers are speaking, can the rest of you just turn off the mute yourselves? Yeah, so that your background noise doesn't interrupt everyone. Yeah, okay. Yeah, mute yourself while you're not speaking. Thank you. So let's start off with a round of introductions. We do have two more speakers who will join in when their connections are good. So Mr. Kuram and I'm not sure if Mr. Boulevard is joining, but certainly we also have Tushar. Oh, we have Tushar here, JP. Yeah, I think Kuram will be joining us. Okay, so without further ado, let's go around the table and have a quick 1 minute introduction of yourself. So let's start with you, JP. Jagdish is the CEO of Blockcon, and he's a serial entrepreneur as well and a capitalist. But let me invite him to introduce himself.
Thanks, Malcolm, for giving opportunity to introduce. My name is Jagdish Pandya. You can call me JP. We are Singapore-based crypto VC, having presence into Malaysia, Thailand, Dubai, and India. We are into three verticals: incubation, innovation, and the events. And we provide young startups with knowledge, contact, visibility, and of course the fuel of fund at pre-seed round. We are lucky to get empowerment from Khazanah, which is Malaysia's national sovereign fund, who has invested in the blockchain village, which is like a crypto valley of Asia. And I run a center of excellence for blockchain and emerging technologies over there. Apart from that, in India, we are based at Gift City, which is Gujarat or India's first financial technology city, having again similar privileges from the government. And I've been into crypto space since 2013, when Bitcoin was ranging around 100 and Ethereum was yet to be born. So lucky to be early adopter of cryptocurrency. Through my event business, we have reached out to 10 plus nations with physical events, and we provide opportunity for attendees, speakers, sponsors to collaborate and contact like what Rajan is doing today in various events. So thanks, Malcolm.
Thank you, JP. And next, can we have Tushar introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Malcolm. I am Tushar Kansal. I run an investment management outfit called Consultancy Ventures. I also run a angel fund called Saffron First. My experience has been into companies like Deloitte and Touche, private equity practice, and I've also worked for Brand Capital, India's largest venture capital fund by number of deals. Have raised almost $2.5 billion of debt for Systema, the Russian company Systema's India unit, MTS India, and was CFO with Distribution Logistics. That's a company owned by Guggenheim Partners. In my last 6 years, I have been instrumental in stitching together a number of equity deals from marquee investors, angel investors, and funds. I do help HNIs, high net worth individuals, direct their investments and including raising debt for them, and also my company handles buy-side mergers and acquisitions deals. So this has been a very exciting space for us, crypto. We are still on the learning curve, and and it is my pleasure to be on this webinar today.
Okay, thank you very much, Tushar. Another financial heavyweight. So we have JP, who's very much in the blockchain capital raising space, and in Tushar, we have a traditional debt and equity investor specialist. So can we have Marinella introduce yourself next? Marinella has the connection to family offices. Yes, please
Okay.
introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Malcolm. I'm happy to be here, and I thank also Mr. Ryan for this invitation. And as I told before, I am president of a family office. We have a license in investment management, but because we are a financial banking consultant for some royal family, we started to established this family office before in Hong Kong and after in Dubai. This in 2013, and it was when we started also to be in the crypto market, because for some requests of some clients that they want to do diversification. We didn't know at that time about Bitcoin, but we started to study this because to offer a better service to our clients. And after that, I discovered that it was blockchain behind, and so we launched also a BTI Innovation Lab to cooperate with many people in the space.
Okay.
Around the world.
All right. Thank you very much, Marinella, for your introduction. And next we have Lucky. So Lucky is the CEO. So he's qualifying here as a founder, CEO of an exchange. He hails from Nigeria. So please introduce yourself, Lucky.
Hi, and thanks again, Tan, for the opportunity. My name is Lucky, and I'm the founder of Sabi Exchange and Sabi Group. We have two main products, which is around exchange and the use of blockchain technology for certificate hashing or record keeping as at this time. There are other projects that are within our niche, but however, the two main projects that have gone live is both the exchange and the record keeping. Aside that, I'm also an author. The author of DeFi for All, which is just a simple practical guide to enable people learn how to try DeFi farming for the first time, including newbies. And I'm also a core team member of EN Finance too, per se. I'm also a consultant and lead trainer to most government agencies within Africa. And that's just my simple intro. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Lucky. We might have one or two other speakers on the panel joining us. They might be having some technical problems right now, but when they come, then I'll have them introduce themselves. All right, since they are still on the line, Lucky, we'll now reverse order. So, since this is a question about startup models and this topic is about startup models and challenges, and this particular panel is talking about fundraising and investment challenges for DeFi. Can you tell us about your experience, yourself personally, as well as with your company and group? How has this year been, 2020, in terms of the
okay, 2020 for us have not really been too easy, but for some reason, I think we ended up readjusting for most time of the year. However, the fact that we were not able to connect as we ought to or as we normally do, for the fact that we could no longer reach out to our regular users in terms of a meetup kind of approach, where we probably would have reached out to them on a one-on-one scale, and everything has to just go digital. It's been pretty tough. But again, beyond the fact that it's been tough, it has given us an opportunity to change our approach or model. And that for us have been a fantastic experience in terms of learning curve. On a much more larger scale, it also gave us the opportunity to engage regulators more. For the fact that people were all at home, including regulators as well, there was this boom in the digital space as a result of this current pandemic. And this had led to most regulators, even within our own continent, approaching or wanting to even know more what's this thing about. Why is it that within the COVID period, there's this high demand or high usage for digital assets and digital cryptocurrencies. This made most of the regulators naturally just tilt towards wanting to learn or know more about it. And again, we had this challenge around capital flight control, and digital asset became the way to go. So, in a nutshell, even though it was challenging for us in terms of operations, from the perspective of usage, we saw growth in the numbers, courtesy of the current pandemic. That has been our experience so far.
Okay, thank you very much, Lucky. So we have Mr. Boulevard who has just joined us. Can you hear us, Boulevard? Maybe he's still having some technical
Thank
difficulties.
you.
Oh, he can.
Yes,
Okay,
right now I
Boulevard.
can
Yes.
hear everybody.
Right. Hi. So
Hello.
maybe you can introduce yourself.
Hello.
Everyone has taken a yes. Can you hear us? Everyone has introduced themselves, so maybe you can
Hello,
introduce
I'm
yourself
talking
now.
now. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear
Yes.
me? I'm
Yes.
talking.
Yes.
All right, great. Sorry, I've been having a glitch.
Right.
I'm
Introduce
glad to
yourself.
join you. Hello, everybody. My name is Boulevard.
Sorry, Boulevard. You are offline again. Oh, okay. He's lost connection. Okay, let's move on to the next person. Marinella. So this is the year of COVID. Maybe you can tell us about some of the challenges. Has it been good for business, bad for business? Why, and what are you doing about it?
Okay, I have to repeat what I said before because it's my idea and nobody can leave me this idea from my mind that we have to do because I am an investment, but I think that we have to move more in impactful investments. We have to follow the agenda of the 2013 that 2030 that is the agenda of the United Nations about the Sustainable Development Goals. And I told before that the challenge will be to be more investment in digital transformation in healthcare and also in financial inclusion, but I want to add also in education, because education is the key to move forward for everybody in the world. And so I think that 2021 was was a good time to plan, to networking, and to acquire new skill for everyone, to acquire new know-how and know-who. But now it will be time to act. I hope that we can move more easily in 2021, because some work will be always in confidentiality, need always face to face. At least one time, because you have to acquire the trust of the people, even if blockchain is a trustless world, because trust will be the technology, but we need human relation. So 2021 will be a good moment to start this, and after to put in the technological space.
Okay, thank you very much for your sharing, Marinella. So can we move on to Tushar? Can you mute yourself, Marinella?
Huh? Yes.
Mute. Mute. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Tushar, can we have you tell us about the challenges of 2020, whether it has been good or bad for your business? What are you doing about it if it's bad? What are you doing if it's good?
So, just like Marinella, I would have to repeat, the technology is marching. So it's marching since the dot-com boom, the dot-com bust. It's marching since the Lehman crisis of 2008. And this year, many people who were either not adopting technology or sitting on the wall, not deciding which way to go, had to jump the fence and had to adopt technology. I mean, I'm talking about schools which were so conservative, they were not allowing online classes. There were companies who never considered work from home, in spite of the fact that the best companies abroad prefer employees working from home. And so technology has reached the bedrooms, technology has reached the families, and the march of technology is going to accelerate only. So, in terms of my business, COVID has impacted a lot of lives. So, children are sitting at home, they are psyched out, their nervous energy is not getting released. people who are so used to traveling, like Marinella for business meetings and so on, they are seeing some positive because a lot of people are transacting over Zoom calls, and it is the for the governments as well. A lot of movement has taken place. In the case of Indian government, the debt to GDP has increased by 20% in the last 1 year, and so my sense is that US has printed $3 trillion, and most of that money has gone into asset classes, including stock markets and cryptos. And only yesterday, another $900 billion was released by the US government. So all this liquidity is going to come eventually in asset classes, and crypto has replaced the gold as a premier asset class, and Bitcoin's onward march is there for everyone to see. I sense that the $100,000 Bitcoin is going to create FOMO, which is the fear of missing out, and a lot of people are going to jump in the bandwagon. It's about educating people, about telling them that there is so much liquidity out there. So definitely the movement has to be up in the long term. It is a secular movement in the long term, and that's what our job as investment managers is all about.
Right. Thank you for your insights, Tushar.
And
okay, Boulevard, you're back. So maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm back. Right. So I'm a blockchain and distributed ledger securities lawyer. I was introducing myself already, so I didn't know where you guys stopped hearing me. My name is Boulevard Aladetoyinbo Esquire. All right, thank you. I'm a blockchain and distributed ledger securities lawyer and head of crypto assets capital formation practice at Lex Fisher Ross. We are a global blockchain and crypto assets law firm, and our practice areas are legal advisory, strategy consulting, research, and training. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Right. Thanks very much, Boulevard, for your introduction.
Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yes. Can you hear us? Maybe you can put on your mics.
We all can hear you.
Turn on your speaker. Okay. Let's move on to JP. So the same question, how has 2020 treated you and your company? And if there were challenges, what were these challenges? How do you overcome them? And if they were good for you, if this was a good year for you, what do you expect next? You are muted. Muted.
Oh, sorry. So Malcolm, first thing, it is officially today 9 months of me being in India. 22nd of March, I came from Dubai to India, and I have not been able to move to most of countries where I have a business base. Like Singapore, I'm unable to fly. Malaysia Blockchain Center, I'm not able to visit. Dubai and Thailand also. I can go to Dubai, but it's like I won't be able to go back to other countries, so that's why I'm stationed here. So first thing that is affected to our business is mobility. We are not able to move from there. But this is new thing that we are not is that COVID has changed the way we do our business and we live, and it has not affected our profitability or our growth at all. I mean, without moving to multiple countries, without doing anything, we have been able to do the same thing or the better thing that we did in 2020 or 2019. So yes, movement is affected, growth is unaffected, especially because of DeFi and the new movement that is happening in crypto space. It's really pumping in new oxygen, and I'm sure in 2021, the late entrants, as I mentioned before, like Libra, JP Morgan, PayPal, MicroStrategy, Square, all corporates have added a lot of new fuel into the crypto economy. With lot 20 corporates coming in, I foresee crypto to be a $1 trillion industry officially in CoinMarketCap, which we missed during 2017. We were stopped like 800 billion. and recently we are ranging between 650 to 700. So I foresee a great growth over there, and let's see how the vaccines and other things come so that we can move around the world. I really miss the event that we used to do together and meet each other in person, and we have to do these virtual events. This really affects attendance. Like most of our events were like 100 to 1,000 people, and today, apart from us, there are not so many serious attendees in most of the virtual events. Even FinTech Festival, Jagdish at Dubai had a virtual one. So I believe that 2021, let borders open up and great things will happen. Thank you.
Okay, great, JP. Thanks for your insights. Boulevard, can you hear us? Boulevard, can you hear us? Seems like he's having problems. So let me share a bit about our own experience. 2020 has actually been a good year for us because we are fully in the digital asset space and licensing. So Singapore started the Payment Services Act this year. We have a lot of clients who came to our group for advisory and for the applications for their own licenses. So we had a lot of crypto exchanges that we helped to onboard into Singapore. Right now, we are still providing advisory to them. And this year, we have seen the rise of DeFi. So I'll be asking another question of the panel very shortly about DeFi. But for us personally, we found that COVID was good because it made everybody sit in front of the screens and go digital, go to technology platforms. So any kind of technology investment, I think, has been pretty good in 2020. But any other kind of investment, I think, has been generally quite slow and quite bad because you can't meet people face to face. It's very hard to get investors to put part with their money. So having said that, since the panel question is about fundraising for DeFi startups, can we have a show of hands from the speakers here who has actually funded a DeFi startup or has a DeFi startup and has achieved some funding this year? 1, 2. Okay, 2. So Lucky and JP, maybe we can hear your insights. How many projects did you fund or run for DeFi? And how was your experience in terms of doing that? JP, let's start with you.
Great. So I personally invested in DeFi tokens when it started as a kind of a retail investor. One that Lucky had worked with, Wi-Fi. I bought it at a very early stage, 1150. It was like 1 Bitcoin versus 10 Wi-Fi, and then was able to exit it 10x. I was very conservative. I never thought that there could be a token that can cross the price that Bitcoin has. So it was stupidity on my part because those 1 BTC that brought me 11 Wi-Fi could have given me 50 BTC within a 3 months time. And this kind of money, when you talk to other people, they don't believe. Sometimes, like I bought it from Polinex at that time. I trade usually on the centralized exchanges. Later, I decided to incubate some DeFi startup within Blockon ecosystem. So at our blockchain village, we are working on Amana DeFi, which is Sharia compliant Islamic finance decentralized project. And we have got amazing board of not only the tech people, but Sharia compliant committee to make a major movement in Sharia compliance. So with the largest population on the planet, Islamic community, backed by the kind of the lack of such token or such ecosystem available in the space, there are high chances that we see that Malaysia will be the first use case of Sharia compliant Islamic finance ecosystem. And then we are also looking for a Dubai partnership. Few of our founders are based in Saudi Arabia and GCC region. So that's first token that I have invested with. And we have another startup called Signy, which is primarily into identity and certification. We were not having any DeFi layer to it. But recently, our board has decided to add the use case of DeFi within the Signy ecosystem. And I think Kuram was also mentioning, we have partnered with one rapid test company and another saliva-based test company. We will be providing them blockchain-based certification with NFT, and it will be the next use case of DeFi. So these are my early stage startup investments, and it's likely to mature in next quarter. Yeah.
Very good. Good to hear. Thank you, JP. So good to hear that your investments were profitable in the DeFi space, and obviously now you're working on a few more. So good luck for those. So let's hear from you, Lucky. What DeFi projects? How many DeFi projects have you been involved in 2020, and how was your experience?
Okay, about three of them. One is a protocol lending and borrowing. The other is more like an automated market maker, where we could just quickly do something similar to what Uniswap is doing currently. But my experience stems from the fact that a lot of the funding process or investment process in this space is not really like the traditional method. Most times, when we invest, we're not investing because we're expecting some immediate ROI. We were investing because we saw some future project in it. And the beautiful thing about it in terms of DeFi investment is that when you invest, the funds are not necessarily being used for some other marketing or stuff like that. They are mainly used to provide almost an instant use case, more like a liquidity in this case, where you provide funding, they take the funding and then put it back into the product itself and give you something in return. So virtually the main projects that I've worked with, like especially like VM Finance too, and recently I'm also working on one called Zuni Swap per se, more like uh, someone who sees some good value in terms of the project. Most times the investment are not necessarily like given to the team, or let them take it to do something. It's just like almost willingly or out of voluntariness. And once that's provided, the money is not necessarily being taken by the team immediately. Like I'm yet to see most DeFi team where funds are given to them and they now take the money from the community by saying, unless they are the ones that we call pump and dump or some scammy nature ones. Most times when funds are provided in DeFi or when investments are made in DeFi, they are now used to provide some form of liquidity back into the project itself. And in return, you're able to either hold the native token of the project. And that way, of course, I've made profits in some and I've lost some as well. So it's been a mix of both sweets and sour, per se.
Okay, thank you for your experience and sharing, Lucky. Boulevard, are you back with us? Can you hear us? I'm going to keep trying it as long as I see him.
Yes, definitely. I can hear you.
Good. You can hear us now. Okay, excellent. Maybe you can answer the question
sure.
that I posed. Did you get involved in any DeFi projects in 2020? Boulevard, did you get involved in any DeFi projects in 2020?
Oh, well, the last one I actually got involved with was in 2019. This year, no.
Okay,
No,
maybe you
not
can
this
share with
year.
us. Maybe you can
Not
share with
this
us about
year.
your experience from
I moved out
2019.
of 2019 last year. I was involved with a DeFi project. Yeah.
Okay, can you share your experiences about those?
Hello?
Yes, can you share with us your experiences about those projects? Yeah, Boulevard, can you hear us? Yep, can you share your experiences?
Okay, I'll just chat him up and tell him what the question is.
Okay.
So
Then when he
the
sees
problem.
it, he can say. Okay, so let me share a bit about my experience with DeFi. This year, we at the Technicorum group we saw that DeFi was going to be the next boom cycle in cryptocurrency and blockchain. So we decided to go into this. We started to look for founders and projects to incubate. We found a couple of co-founders who had this project called KingSwap. And we adopted that about 3 months ago in September, and we incubated that. We brought it to market. It was launched at the end of October. So we have personally put in money, myself as well as the group that I'm involved in. We have a VC arm there as well. So we put in some capital, and we brought in investors from around the world as well. And we achieved our funding targets very quickly. So there was a lot of, we found that there was a lot of pent up demand from the space. A lot of projects had made a lot of money. One of our investors was saying that he got introduced to Yearn Finance when it was something like $300, right? And he didn't believe it. He didn't believe much in it, but he put a bit of money, very little. because the next time he looked at it, it was at 15,000. So just like JP, he didn't believe that it would cross the Bitcoin price. So he thought it was going to go down. He didn't put money into it, and then he regretted it. So when our project came along, he said, "Okay, we're going to go in. We're going to support it since we know you, we know the team, we know that you're coming from a jurisdiction like Singapore, and you have a regulated token, right?" So that's the interesting thing about the space. Very few ICOs are getting funding nowadays, but DeFi projects are still getting very well funded. They seem to be able to attract the investments. There's the terminology in DeFi is a degen farmer. So everyone has a budding degen farmer inside them. It's great to see your it's great to see your APY go up, right? In no other thing except for games can you see APYs of 1,000%, 3,000%. See your money doubling in like 7 days or even 1 day sometimes. In our project, there were some people who were so amazed by it that someone said that he was one of the earliest liquidity providers in our AMM and yield farm, and he put in 1 ETH and he made $40,000 within 1 day. So that was crazy farming, right? So unfortunately we seem to be losing Boulevard again. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. For Tushar and Marinella, you guys haven't been involved in any DeFi projects investments, but since this is the panel topic, what do you think you will be doing in the DeFi space? Do you think that in the near future, let's say the next 6 to 12 months, you will be looking at DeFi projects and perhaps investing in them? And if so, what are the criteria that you would have that you'll be looking out for? Yep. So, Marinella, you can start.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, start, Marinella.
Okay. I think that institutional investors to come in to make understand also that what is the profit to enter in the market, because also normal people, they don't need to understand about the technology that is behind every investment that they do. For example, when we started to use online banking, we don't know which is the technology behind to use the technology. We have to know just that we can use 24 hours a day, and we are in our sofa when we use this. So the same for blockchain, for cryptocurrency. To push the mass adoption, we need to make understand to the normal people that what is the profit that they will have, that the advantage that they will have. And to run this, and we need that there are institutional investors behind banks, and the government. They have to train the mass. We are doing lobbying activities for this. We do lobbying activities from 2013. And we will continue to do that. For example, now we are doing with the European Commission with some parliamentary there to tell them about the central bank digital currency, that they are trying to regulate that, but they cannot regulate the technology, because technology is more faster than regulation. So they try to regulate, and in 6 months will be already obsolete, the regulation, because the technology will be more faster than any regulation. Jurisdiction are too much, so it's impossible to regulate everything. And we start with fintech and surtech experimentation. Because we do research, innovation, and development, and we will move. We are moving already in the DeFi space with our partner in 2021. Is planned already.
Okay, very good. So, some of the criteria, maybe you can name three top criteria that your investors will be looking out for when investing in DeFi projects. 3.
The main advantage, the traction. They want to know all the criteria that are in, because what do we say? Okay, they say, this is not a normal business model, because we cannot look for the normal business model, but we have the criteria that are in Sharia complying business model. So, for example, as to be asset backed, one of my partners, that is Marco here, he asked me about tokenization in real estate. Tokenization in real estate we do only if there is an intangible asset behind, if there are contracts behind renting. If it is an house that nobody will rent, where is the profit to tokenize this? I have to protect my investors. So
Okay.
this is my main criteria is protect the investment, protect the investors.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Marinella, for your sharing. Yeah, can I request you to mute yourself? Thank you. Okay, Tushar, the same question. So, do you foresee yourself investing in anything in the DeFi space? And if so, what would be the criteria?
See, whenever there is a market topping, like Bitcoin has touched all-time highs, there is always euphoria and all-round positivity, and then the herd behavior starts. I mean, fear of missing out, FOMO starts to gain. So, but at the same time, these numbers are for real. I mean, it has touched a lifetime high. I mean, and people are talking about $100,000 Bitcoin. I come from a country which has always been, it's an emerging economy. Inward USD is always welcome. Outward USD, there are constraints, regulatory constraints. So the government is still sitting on the wall. But after the Supreme Court judgment, as Mr. Khurram said, things have moved ahead. So we see startups in this space coming up, and they have been coming up since last 1 year. But now there is more clarity. So I would definitely be looking for such startups, of course, with a well-defined regulatory scenario going ahead. And also, in the long term, I feel that central bankers around the world, they maintain a total control over money flows, and crypto, in a sense, has broken it down. And apart from breaking it down, it has also resulted in lowering of costs associated with transfers. So this is a long-term benefit to the customer, and any such startup which helps the customer lower his costs and also increase the efficiency is welcome. Although the main worry behind cryptos is the high volatility, and also black swan events like the new strain of COVID which has come from UK, or some Chinese debt government companies defaulting on debt. So those kind of red flags and black swans are what I will worry about. But overall, the long term trend is positive.
Okay, great. Thanks for your sharing. So we're running out of time now, and what I'll like from each of the speakers will be a one-liner. So back to the question: fundraising versus investment challenges for DeFi startups. So just share with the audience a one-liner in terms of the particular topic that we have right now. JP, maybe you can start.
Hello.
You're muted. Muted.
Okay, so as a startup, if you want to raise the fund, believe in your product, make sure that adoption happens, and plan your go-to-market, user acquisition, your pain points, and you must know why you and why someone will switch to you as a customer. As an investor, stocks are attractive, futuristic, too big, high yield volume, and you must invest into newcomers, because newcomers will give you better return. That's what I believe.
Okay, thank you, JP. Tushar, one-liner from you with relation to this topic: fundraising versus investment challenges for DeFi startups.
So they would come mostly from the government. Otherwise, left to itself, the startups take the best technology route, and they are always, as Marinella said, they are always ahead of the governments in all countries. So they break barriers, they lower down costs, they reduce the time to market for products and services. So I would look out for any startups which bring more benefits to the customer directly or indirectly.
Okay, thank you, Tushar. Boulevard, are you with us? Can you hear the questions?
Yes, I am now.
Okay, finally, we are ending the session. It's in almost an hour. So maybe you can part with a one-liner from your perspective on the topic that we have right now: fundraising versus investment challenges for DeFi startups. Give us a one-liner with relation to this.
Well, when it comes to fundraising, I think startups should first and foremost have the three Ps, which from way back have been product, platform, and protocol. Protocol in most cases on the GitHub, because investors actually always look out for all these things. And when they are actually present in the investments or slide deck presentation that they send to investors, they always look out for them because they are the factors that influence the investment decision at the end of the day. So startups should be conscious of this.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Boulevard, for your three Ps. So that's product, platform, and protocol. Thank you very much. Okay, Lucky, your turn. Can you leave us with one-liner on today's topic? The panel discussion topic today is fundraising versus investment challenges for DeFi startups. Give us a one-liner from your perspective.
Okay, let the focus of the team who that is building the DeFi product, let their focus around final incentives that will come for their hard work be the last thing in the burner, not the first thing in the burner. And for those who want to participate or experiment with the DeFi space, let their focus not be around the immediate value for return on their money, because it's not a Ponzi scheme. It's actually a product that is meant to be used.
Okay, great, thank you. And Marinella, one last line from you regarding to this topic.
Okay, I can give an advice to startup that want to fundraise funding for their products. Say the truth in number, put passion in what you do, and create an iconic product with the service added, and make that everyone will look for you, and we will pass from product placement in movie to service placement in movie.
Okay,
thank
you.
I think.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks to all of the panelists today for a great session and your sharing. All right, so this brings this session to an end. Thank you. Right. Rajan?
Yes. Yes, thank you, Malcolm, for moderating excellently, taking out the best takeaways for the attendees. And the final one, what is the next is going to be crypto or DeFi 2021 or NFT, which is going to be bullish?
All the three.
Okay.
No, I think DeFi will be more bullish than NFT in my viewpoint.
Yeah,
I think a lot of investors are planning to put in money in NFT.
NFT is a slow burn. NFT is a slow burn. Crypto came up with Bitcoin leading the charge, and I think DeFi is still going to keep growing. Yeah. So all three as well. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you all of you. Thank you for all the panelists taking your time to come here, and look forward next session. We will do it again for the European market, US market. So we will look forward to participating. Thank you. Happy New Year in advance.
Thank you.
Right. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Malcolm. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you, Marinella.
Thank you,
Lucky.
Jagdish.
Thank you, Jagdish.
Tushar.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you for the audience.